Hello, hello, hello. You're returning to the episode of TheWunderkindShow. Today's second topic are the Ravens gambling with Lamar Jackson's health. Look, guys, I was sitting back going over some of the topics that we talked about. The O-line, draft, weapons, GM, all those things. And I was going over some of the thoughts I have about our GM. I was going over some of the things thoughts I have about the coaching. And then I was going over some of the thoughts and processes of the team building. And I was watching the live for Lunch Break Hot Take. And we were talking about like Zay outpricing himself in Baltimore. And a question dawned on me after everything that we're saying on Lunch Break Hot Take. And the question was, does this all just sum up to the Ravens consistently gambling with Lamar Jackson's health? And after a while, you have to start looking at it and saying, yeah. They are fan-dueling, draft-kinging around Lamar Jackson's health. Look, guys. Did they get a running back? Yes, they got the running back that I wanted. Shout outs to them. Derrick Henry was a knockout of the park. But they have constantly cheaped out around their QB while he's in his prime. And not just cheaping out, downright have allowed him to get mauled, mangled, and destroyed behind lines that they have constructed. And this time they went with a lot of young guys, and the guards on both sides were a problem. And there was play after play that we saw Lamar Jackson have to make. And there were some hits that he had taken, very low hits, weird hits around his knees, his ankles, that made you go like this. You know what I mean? Hold your breath for a second. And that's when and witnessing all of that, then watching Lunch Break Hot Take and asking myself that question, I believe undoubtedly the Ravens have gambled and consistently put Lamar Jackson in precarious situations with his health. Now look, guys, our quarterback has been knocked out 2 seasons. Both times because of the O-line. Why would you, knowing that, not allocate the funds needed to build a fortress around your big money player? In other words, why would you not build a wall around your franchise? See, what y'all don't seem to understand is that Lamar is the franchise. Remember when we were young, we used to say Steve Francis, a.k.a. Stevie Franchise? No, Lamar is the franchise. Lamar Jazz size. He's the QB. He commands the most money. His face is all over the media. His likeness is plastered over cereal boxes, jerseys, shirts, and memorabilia and merchandise. We've already seen what the Ravens look like without Lamar. The reason why I'm saying this is because I want you to understand context and why I say the things that I say. Because a lot of times we lose context. We lose the reason behind statements. And I wanted to make sure that I hammered home my statement. Because make no mistake about it, we have watched the Ravens do terrible without Lamar Jackson. And that's before he became Lamar Jackson, as some people can even say. 2018, we were horrible. We were stuck in the mud. We looked like we were outmatched in every game. O-line wasn't holding up. Receivers weren't making separation. Defense wasn't getting stops. The only thing you could say was the kicker was making amazing kicks. That was all. They inserted a young man by the name of Lamar Jackson, and the fortunes from the Ravens changed dramatically overnight. Then they thought it was a splash in the pan. Then, okay, I'm going to start this whole year. And then he had one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen as a second-year player. Then they said, well, the NFL would have figured him out. Everything else, we're not really worried about him no more. And all the way now to going on year 8, the man is a 2-time MVP, 3-time All-Pro, with a season where he threw 40-plus touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And the team that employs him has said, we're going to put the cheapest offensive line around you. And yeah, we know there's going to be a lot of rough spaces, but hopefully, that's the key word. Hopefully, those guys grow. Now, I know some people are going to say, well, they did get better. There's no other way from up for how bad they were playing at the beginning of the season. Y'all know that, right? They were letting untouched guys run directly at the quarterback on consecutive plays, consecutive downs. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Guys, I'm not hating, because I think a lot of times what people do, I'm not hating on anybody. What I'm doing is I'm giving you facts. I'm giving you facts. The Ravens have not done enough to properly surround their big money blue chip player with protection when that's all they seem to preach. It doesn't make sense to me. And if it makes sense to you, fine. But the reason why I'm coming to this is because when we cover all of this stuff, sometimes a lot of people will say, oh, Nigel's just hating, Nigel's looking for something. No, I'm being real as I can possibly be. I'm asking the questions that some people will not ask. They refuse to ask. Because after all the moves that they've made, you have to start saying, why? Why would you do that? You know that this is like this because of that. Why would you take away? Because that's what they've done. They've taken away great players from around him constantly and have said it for Lamar to make it work. And we've seen it not work in back-to-back seasons. All I'm saying is leave the gambling to the fans. Stop gambling with your best player / best player in the league. That's not a very smart move. Boo Boo the Fool wouldn't even do that. It's nasty work, man. I had to address this because, once again, context, right? Context. It's nasty work. But what do you guys think? Do you think the Ravens constantly gamble with Lamar Jackson's health by not putting the proper protection and players around him that he's needed? Or do you think, nah, that's not needed. Lamar's a really fast guy. He can dip, dive, duck, and dodge and complete the pass. Since we're paying him so much, that's what he should be doing anyways. Let me know what you think down in the comments, please, all right? But as always, that's episode of The Wunderkind Show! Thank you for watching. And now we get down. We have fun and we laugh. But everything we talk about, we do what? Facts and truth. Please do remember, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment. You know all the comments. And guys, if you've not already done so, please remember to like and subscribe to The Wunderkind Morning Show live Monday through Thursdays, 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. in the mornings, where we cover sports, hot topics, and nostalgia at the end of every show to make you smile a little bit. So be there or be squared, okay? Also, if you'd like to donate to this channel, help out with equipment and stuff like that, bottom of the screen, QR code. QR goes to a CashApp. CashApp located in the description of every video that we do. Name of it is $, The Wunderkind Show. Super easy. But That's the episode of The Wunderkind Show. This your host, not just signing off. And as always, you know my slogan. Peace. I am out of here. Huh? Yeah.